Oh, thank you, sir. Well, we welcome you in our stream show, cranking and ready to go, both sides of the ball on a beautiful Tuesday right here on the First Coast. Joe C. from XL Primetime, and you got these talented coaches on both sides of me. If I look to my right, I see Coach Jerald Ingram, Super running backs coach under Tom Coughlin up in New York. And of course, he was right here coaching up the running backs back in the 90s and into the O's here in beautiful Duval. Coach Mark Duffner will join us in just a second. The defensive side of the ball is where he attacks it. And we would love for you guys to hang out with us today and talk some ball. So, Coach Ingram, and by the way, Ozzie, whenever you go to the game, you know how you have that shell game where they put the football under the helmet. You guys know what I'm talking about? And they make everybody watch as the helmets go in every different direction.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, you got to choose. That's what Ozzie just did to us on the screen. He just moved us all around, which was a trip. All right, but you guys are ready to go. Coach Ingram, let's just jump in on this was not a quick start offensively for this football team, going up to Mile High, incredibly loud in an impressive environment from the Broncos fans. And then this team, Trevor couldn't get going. He got knocked down, taken down. They gave up a couple of sacks early. But the bottom line is they came out of Denver with one of the more impressive regular season wins we have seen in this franchise's history, really.
No, it was a phenomenal job. To be honest, it was all around great football. There was a lot of good coaching going on both sides of the ball. It really was. And we knew before the game started it was going to be that type of situation. It was going to be a hostile environment. It's going to be loud. Things were going to have to, what was great was our ability to adjust early. We didn't wait till halftime to make the adjustments, the blitzes, the match coverage. He thought it was zone. Even Liam's play calling, he was throwing some man coverage routes into some zone, and then he was throwing some zone coverage into man. So, they had to see how they were trying to play match and as well as the blitz package. But, it just goes to the grit and the knowledge and the preparation that they adjusted smoothly without a panic. The worst thing that happened was, as loud as it was the hit to Trevor in the back by PJ. That really could have taken our quarterback out. It was so loud. You couldn't blame the kid because they tried to play the replay, and I never heard the whistle on that. But that really could have hurt our quarterback and changed a lot on how that game ended up. But on both sides of the ball, it was great football in December, working towards Christmas. I mean, it made everybody believe that you can play and win everywhere, anywhere as a small market team. That you just had to love the good football that was being played. Not one time that I felt that we were in trouble in that game.
No. And I think that's probably the genesis of what has changed here. The idea that you can, put yourself in a little bit of a hole, but you have a plan, you keep, you stay on the attack, you keep present in terms of what you got to do, and you get the job done. Coach Duff, you've coached on the defensive side of the ball for a long, long time. I love how Coach Ingram just set it up. Both sides of the ball got the job done when they needed it the most in this ball game.
Without a doubt. And you talk about the challenge, especially, let's start off with the challenge the offense had, playing against the defense, number one in the league on third down, number one in the league in the red zone. What does our offense do? Our offense scores 5 out of 5 times in the red zone, 4 touchdowns and a field goal. I mean, just unbelievable execution. And then on third down, I think 8 out of 15 against the number one team in the league. You talk about taking the challenge head on and staring it in the face and getting after it. And then as Coach talked about the adjustments that they made defensively, when you look at the second half, especially what they did, I mean, they struggled on the first drive of the second half, and then I saw on TV that and heard on the radio that Anthony Campanile called them all up, talked to them about it, and after that they respond beautifully. A great second half. I mean, again, what do? They cause them to punt. They have a fumble recovery. They have a field goal. They have an interception. They have a fourth down stop. They have a sack by rookie Green. I mean, the total commitment to execution by the team was exceptional. Again, against probably the hottest team, us and them, in the league.
Yeah.
Excellent.
When you think about that, an 11-game win streak, hottest team, last team to lose at home. So they were doing work. And in the beginning, it was protection issues for this football team, Coach Ingram. Great protection for Bo Nix early on in this ball game. And then finally, like Coach Duff just described, Campanile said, just keep at it, fellas. But you're talking about timely moments. Go back to what you just mentioned earlier, the Trevor Lawrence hit. That was a whiplash type of hit, yet he was able to get up. He's a strong, tough son of a gun, and they kept figuring out ways to just kind of needle at this defense and come up with a big play.
Well, I think Liam, psychology-wise, look, he has pulled out the coaching manual at its finest. Yeah. He's hit on everything that you tried to hit on as a coach through this season, that it collectively has come together to the point where, to be honest, we were a better team.
Yeah.
And that's what we were. We were a better team. We were well prepared, in every way, mentally, physically. Guys were flying around, and Patrick, Washington making plays. Those plays were supposed to have been covered. They were there. He broke tackles. He had the want to make the difference in who we are and establishing who we are. The message was sent to the league that we belong like everybody else.
Yeah.
And he played lights out. The ball went to a lot of people. And Strange, him, Myers, they tried to take our outside receivers and beat, he wasn't going to have that. It reminded me a lot of Victor Cruz, when Victor Cruz came in the league and said, you know what, I belong in the league and I'm going to show I'm here. Yeah. But the display that Patrick did, was phenomenal. All these things that our players are doing to elevate everyone else. And then you look on the other side of the ball and how Walker played. Now, we didn't make sacks, but I'm going to tell you something. He was relentless. That's what I noticed watching the game. The guy was everywhere. They're pushing the pocket. Guys were, talking to each other. They're into it. The secondary play was into it. It just looked like a really sound, good, great team.
And it's like we keep saying, coaching matters, because both sides of the ball, that's where you guys have basically made your resume by getting guys in position to make plays. And Trayvon Walker did it. Parker Washington was unreal. And by the way, Coach Duff, this was with Brian Thomas Jr. less than 20 yards of offense, 2 catches in this game, and you didn't miss him. You really didn't.
No, the multiple, as Coach Ingram and you just said, the multiple contributions by players on both sides of the football is highly impressive. It shows the strength of this football team right now. It's not a 1 or 2 man show. And what this team's accomplished, when you think about it right now, I think they've it's amazing. I think it was the 9th game this year where we've had 2+ takeaways. That was such a drought last year. Well, they're tied with Chicago right now for the lead in terms of that. I think they're second overall, but they're tied with 9 games over 2 takeaways with Chicago. That's as good as there is in the league. Like I mentioned to you before, I mean, the offense, the success they had. We've won 3 straight road games, 4 wins on the West Coast, something that everybody thought, well, you can't do. They've blown that away. Yeah. They swept the AFC West. 12 games with 25 points or more. That's the best in the NFL. I mean, when you look at some of the accomplishments of this team that they have done consistently now, they're starting to put consistently in part of their description. And it starts with the quarterback, how well he's played. I mean, I think it was his 4th or 5th game with 2 touchdowns or more passing and no giveaways. Yeah, he's got a career high this season of 26 passing touchdowns. Can't say enough for the continued progress, confidence, and execution that Trevor Lawrence displays.
Yeah, and
And
when you
just to
go
add to
through
what
the
you said,
numbers and what he's
what,
been able to do, Coach Ingram,
yeah,
like he's played some flawless, smart football.
yes, he has. But just to add to what Duff had just said, you had two of the highest penalized teams in the league,
Yeah,
and we only had two.
Yeah.
yeah,
So we listened to
on the
what
road.
Liam had said
On the
that,
road.
hey, we got to win with discipline, and we didn't turn the ball over either.
Yeah,
In the worst environment you can play in. The week before, there was all kinds of false starts and so forth by that crowd, which you love to see as far as if you're the home team. Excellent job, as you just mentioned.
yeah. There were false starts from the Broncos more than
Yeah,
there were for the
yeah, there
Jaguars,
were.
It was.
which was honestly unexpected and a welcome surprise. All right, so Coach Ingram, when we go back to the resiliency on the offensive side, like we said, BTJ, it's not like he was invisible, but he certainly didn't do a whole hell of a lot. But between what Brenton Strange was able to do, and he had to have it in the back of his mind, hey, Evan Ingram's over there. They cut him
Right.
loose. They gave me an opportunity. I'm going to ball. And then, of course, Parker
Mhm.
Washington is out of his mind right now how he's playing.
Yes, he is. When you talk about players, and I think the difference between Trevor now and Trevor in the past,
Mhm.
Trevor probably used to look to the players to throw as opposed to the coverage to throw. Now
Okay.
he's a much more competent quarterback right now in the protection knowledge, the coverage knowledge, taking advantage of what the defense gives you in coverage. So if you want to double this person, you want to play coverage on this, you want to put Surtain on this guy, where are the open holes in zone? Who has the best leverage to win in man? I think, and his accuracy has been on mark the last 3 games. To be honest, I think every week he's played his best game, but this past weekend was his best as a quarterback. Accuracy, delivery, knowing where to go, how fast he had to go, and you decide if I don't have it, I can get the first down on my legs. So my arms and my legs, he's at the point of level 5 in competency where he just reacts now that he didn't do before.
Let it rip.
Nightmare to I guarantee you, Vance Joseph. I was watching him during the game too. Nightmare to him right now the way this guy's playing, because everything you just said was 100%, and that is major stress to the defense. I mean, he's rolling out and he's starting to run. He's throwing back across his body right now and on the nose. I mean, he's showing you stuff. You're going, oh my gosh, the whether they were the deep balls, the go balls, the ability to utilize his legs to get out of trouble, tucking it and run. I mean, I just was just highly impressed right now. And again, I just pray to God he just keeps it going, because right now he is seeing what the defense displays. He's making good decisions. The confidence that he sees is all over the field. So it's well done.
Yeah, he's feeling it.
Yeah.
And we're going to use that "let it rip" phrase quite a bit, because that's really when, and you guys know I've been calling it Project 16. And Liam Cohen, that when he came in, he said, I'm going to take this job. That guy's going to be my quarterback. I'm going to make him uncomfortable. I'm going to force him to understand what we're asking him to do, and he's going to do it. And if you go back to week 4, week 5. And even if you go to the London game, it didn't look like he was connecting with Liam the way you want to see it happen. And then somehow or another, Coach Ingram, and I know this happens inside the building and people on the outside don't get to see it, but just something all of a sudden started to click. And my gosh, man, it's been good.
The light is finally turned on. And sometimes, and this is what happens to quarterbacks in the league, that you never know what year it turns on, and sometimes it never does turn on for some quarterbacks. Yes, it is probably one of the hardest mental positions to play in the NFL, to make sure the other 10 guys are in position and feel the confidence that they're where they're supposed to be. But the mind factor that you can actually do it, see it, respond to it, and deliver it is a whole nother thing that we've seen more duds at number 1 quarterbacks than we have seen successes in the NFL, because the stresses of the patience for that guy to be ready to play. Sometimes we force these quarterbacks early and we don't allow them to train and develop under those type of situations. But with more pay and more pressures that go with this, it's a lot harder on a lot of quarterbacks. And, the light is finally turning on to this kid.
Yeah.
Well,
like Tua, for example, Coach Duff, they've closed the book on him. And Justin Fields, they've closed the book on him. And so, you got to get it done when you can.
Well, yeah, when you and we talked earlier in the season the positive play by Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, guys that kind of floated around for 3 or 4 years in their career that now are playing at a pretty strong elite level. I mean, there clearly were examples of top guys taking a while to get there. And to be frank, probably those guys haven't had as many people in their ear as Trevor's had. And so, I mean, I can't say enough. I really think that one of the brilliant moves that the coaching staff made was when they went to the wristband for Lawrence right now. It took away a lot of it took away a lot of the problems.
Yeah. And we can hear you.
And it's kind of like he said, it took away, it helped him in his comfort factor probably, and that he didn't have to memorize everything. Everything is on the wristband, so now he can think about the play that he's saying. So that definitely helped, as well as bringing in Myers really probably elevated his confidence that he had somebody else in the room to help elevate the pass game, to see how it should be. Because when you bring a professional player like him who's been has learned under Belichick and Tom Brady, he brings something to the table, and everybody is listening. And Edgar Bennett, as a position coach, is doing a phenomenal job. But when you have that type of player in the room that can, that it can expound on what Liam is trying to say, that also makes a difference. So everything kind of really snowballed to a better offensive pass game.
All right. So, Coach Ingram, I want to ask you this one question about the wristband. And it is interesting because, and I think I have this right, and you and I and Coach Duff talked about this as we went along. They, at least as I understand it, Liam wanted him to hear the play call, give the play call, get to the line of scrimmage, do all the read and recognize that he needs to do, and make the decisions. Well, we all know that led to some penalties and so on and so forth. But was it a good exercise to do that before going back to the wristband?
Well, I think, in coaching, you try a lot of different things, especially this, being your first year, trying to figure out how much he can handle, how much he can conceptualize. Well, probably next year he could probably do it without as many plays on that wristband, because now he's more comfortable. If he had to do it now, he's probably better. But you give Liam a lot of credit. You didn't let his ego, just like the quarterback, you didn't let his ego get involved, and be honest, that's a large part of our profession issues, is allowing our egos to just play down and just listen and take it all in, or accept that, hey, I have a little bit of fault. Liam said, you know what? It's not working. Let's do it your way. And it worked. Next year, he might say, hey, I need less and maybe a few plays. Eli had a wristband. Okay. He was comfortable either way. He was comfortable in a 2-minute offense and just say, hey, you call the plays. When we huddle call, we'll call the plays in a 2-minute situation. How far it goes, it's going pretty damn good right now as far as the education of the game between the head coach, coordinator, and player on the field. And that's really what Tom Brady became. He became the extension of the coordinator and the head coach on the field. And that's where we want to be. He's right where we want. We expected him to be this in his second or third year. Okay. And it didn't happen. We all remember the great teachers we all had. Whoever that teacher was that we loved out of that class, happens to be him.
Yeah. And honestly, when you think about it, and Coach Duff is back with us, but when you think about how he has grown in confidence, in decision-making, accuracy, putting the ball on the numbers like Coach Liam demanded, all this stuff has really offered up a new picture, a new vision, a new, hey, what's possible for this guy? Now, is this, Coach Duff, this is scratch? It has a feeling of it's a scratch the surface type of moment for Trevor? Like, there's still more from him that he can give.
I am so excited about that. You're dead on right now. I mean, when you think about this guy right now with the experience he's got, he's 26 years old. I mean, I think it is scratching the surface because each and every week we see a little bit more progress, a little bit more flash, but more consistent flash of where this guy can go. And as I said before, if I'm a player in the league, I want to come to Jacksonville right now because what's happened? You got so many people contributing to the success of this team on both sides of the football. The coaching staff has demonstrated trust to players, putting them in the game, giving them opportunities to make plays, especially when we need it the most. I mean, when you look at this, if I'm again, I was if I was coaching on another team, I would be trying to find out every single thing that's going on here from top to bottom because player acquisition, player production, success of a team, all of it's going in the right direction against quality opponents. So I'm saying, what the flip? It's like Coach Ingram, when you guys, Coach Coughlin used to send you guys out to dig around and find out information, do your little off-season projects with other teams. Hell, I'd be camped out right here down by Miller Electric Company trying to find out all that's going on because it's special.
Yeah, details matter. And that's what Liam has done. He's changed the culture from the standpoint of not just the starters need to know that every person in that building has a role. And that mental rep or your responsibility may make the difference in us winning the game because the next man up and taking that mental rep in practice, even though he didn't get a rep, is really showed throughout this whole season that everybody is listening and waiting for their opportunity, and they're ready. They're not practicing on the field on game day, which, you know, how many times I used to feel some guys is like, you know, is this guy practicing on game day?
Yeah.
Where was he during the week?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you up front, Joe said it from the very beginning since I met Joe back in August. Coaching matters. And you're seeing it flourishing, you know, each and every week. There's another positive or two or three positive examples of it going on right now. You mentioned Edgar Bennett, the great job he's doing. The job that they're doing across the board is exceptional right now. And as I said, I'd love to be part of that right now. It's got to be a blast.
Yeah, and the thing I like more than anything else, like you guys you've coached under people, you've run one side of the ball, you've run a position group, you guys know what you have to go through to get the most out of these players. And like Coach Ingram said, mental reps do matter. Don't try and practice in a game, practice during the week. But the thing that I love is that you can send out like Buster Brown right now looks like he's been a bona fide starter for a long time. Jarian Jones was sat down earlier this season, and now he's making plays. We already mentioned Green and a few others. And then Coach Ingram, when you put Quinn Allen in there, you're thinking, wait a minute, I'm 3 deep now on my depth chart. I don't know whether I can ask this guy. He's doing everything you need him to do to make the plays necessary.
Right. There's no reservation with these guys right now at all. That's where the culture has changed and the belief in this team. And there's so much unselfishness on this team. I mean, you look at ETN. I mean, we say it every week. You know, he does what he has to do, no matter if it's run, pass, or if we don't run or the run's not there, he's ready whenever. And that sends a message to everybody else that, you know, on certain teams, and we've been there before, a guy starts pouting about this, pouting about that, then you got to babysit the. Everybody sees that. There's a great unselfishness about this team on whoever has to deliver, I'm ready.
Yeah. All right, so let's set this up. Final handful of minutes here. What we saw from Phillip Rivers last night is also incredible to watch, that he had his play sheet. He knows his offense inside and out. He's barking out decisions, the read and recognition at the line. It was crazy good for him. Obviously, he didn't hold up. There are others that let him down on that side of the ball. San Francisco ends up taking care of business. But Jacksonville is officially in the playoffs after that loss last night by the Indianapolis Colts. Their losing streak continues. This team now travels up there, coached up, and you got to figure out defensively. I don't know what they're going to do. Is it going to be Phillip? Is it going to be Riley? AR still on the sidelines. Who knows what's going to happen with him? But this is a massively important game, and don't take him for granted.
Oh my gosh, and you've got a wounded animal right now in Indianapolis. I think they still have a glimmer of hope right now. They'd have to win out for sure,
Yeah.
and other things happen. But here's a team that was 8-2, and has now, as you just talked about, undergone now a losing streak. I think now it's up to 5 straight games, and so that I mean, this team is going to be playing the lights out in terms of what they're going to present against us. So we've got to continue to do what we do right now, focusing on that opponent, ignore any other noise that there is, know that this team is capable because they demonstrated during the course of the season. And as you talked about last night, I mean, if Rivers is going, I couldn't get over the command that he had right now and leading that offense. I mean, he was setting protection. He was checked with me. He was getting them, move. He was everything. I got to say this to you. Everything that San Francisco Sala was trying to present to him, he saw it right now. So you're not fooling this cat. And so Anthony Campanile saw this too. He knew when pressure was coming. He knew when it was disguised. Highly impressive in what he did. And that's going to be if he is the guy, he's going to be ready to go. He's only getting better and better as he gets more comfortable with what they're doing. But I think that the key is going to be for us on defense right now. They just haven't gotten Taylor going again, and he struggled the last few weeks. His yards per carry is down, and I can't believe that they won't go back to him and try to get him going again because how well it served them earlier in the year. And then, so I mean, we have a major challenge as far as we're concerned. Their defense just did not show up last night. I mean, one that's played pretty well. Number one against the run, 3.7 a carry. I think number one in the league. And geez, Pete, San Francisco ran it all over them. So, which surprised me, but they did it pretty well, inside and outside. So they're working like hell today to get all those things fixed and corrected, and we'll get their best shot. So our focus, our energy, our preparation this week will be critical.
It's just like you said, their defense kind of let them down until he threw that interception. They had a chance, and they started to believe they were in the game. And in the last few games, they have fought. Now, they made the right choice. You saw it when Jones went out in our game, the level of play. Now, the backup quarterback did a decent enough job, but they had to acquire somebody who had some knowledge and experience, who could get them in the right play calls, get them in the right protections, and just have some football savvy, instead of just having to coach somebody up on a new offense. They had some connection with him. They trusted his age and his knowledge. They didn't expect him to throw 60-yard passes, and really didn't have to.
Right.
Okay, they were putting San Fran, on the edge a little bit there, but the defense kind of let them down. You can't, you can't just take this team lightly, So I think they had the right record on what they were trying to do with this old quarterback, but these last two games for them are pride games.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all they are, because they believe they're going to have the quarterback back next year,
right,
and be a more complete team of what they were earlier in the year. That's what they believe. What they don't like seeing is how the defense is playing and how the certain level has gone down.
Yeah, because they basically gave Brock Purdy a ton of time. He was able to improvise. Like Coach Duff said, they ran the ball when they needed to. But boy, George Kittle, before he went out of the game, and the rest of the guys, Tonjes, they were all involved. Juwan Jennings. So we'll see what this offense can do to that defense on Sunday. And hopefully Trevor can keep operating, wheeling and dealing with a great deal of confidence. The win for the New England Patriots over the Baltimore Ravens was a gut punch. I think we all know that, because it would have brought Jacksonville further into the conversation of getting the number one seed. Set that aside for right now. I think you guys both would agree, Coach Duff, you just got to make sure you win these next two football games. Whatever the seeding says, whoever you get to host, let's go. Let's ball.
Yeah, control what we can control. And right now, that's getting ready to play our best game of the season right now, to use a Tony Baselli. This is the most important game in history of the franchise right now, because it is. That's our next game right now. It's the most important. If we want to go where we really want to go, we have to win this football game. And as I said, we'll get their best shot. No ifs, ands, or buts. So buckle up and be ready.
All right. So one comment before we get out of here, the one sitting on the chat, coaching matters. You guys definitely have had a hand in the success for a lot of football players. Scheme matters, and that's what was missing last year. And shout out to Khan for making it happen for the Jags. And I totally agree because it was so important for Shad Khan to make a huge step, a bold move, do it on his own without Trent Baalke in his ear. And he went out and he landed a coach that's right now proven that coaching matters, and he should be up for Coach of the Year the way he has kicked ass. And Coach Ingram, you can go Mike Vrabel, you can go Ben Johnson, hell, you can go Kyle Shanahan if you want, but Liam Cohen needs to be in that conversation.
Oh, he definitely deserves to be in that conversation. Like you said, he's brought out the book of coaching and done a great job of it on the road. Every aspect that you have had to overcome with the team, he's overcame, and they're ascending in the right way. He's truly earned, the organization has earned the right to win every single week. If we can continue to do that going into the playoffs, it is what it is. It's a one-game elimination, and we'll see that the message he sent through the year has made a difference. If this is our moment, let it be our moment.
Yep.
No, and just what you said, I mean, the job that he's done, I think that the input that Tony Baselli's made to this club, you know, in the role that he's in now as the executive vice president, and certainly James Gladstone, the moves they've made, like I said, player acquisition across the board. I mean, it's you want to study it. It's a phenomenal model right now that where they've come from to where they are right now is exceptional, and playing tough situations across the board. None of these were cupcakes, and so I mean they have progressed and learned so much from that's what I'm impressed with. They've taken situations that have been tough, learned from them, and gotten better. They didn't relapse. We haven't seen many relapses,
No.
And so I think that is highly impressive. And so again, hats off to everybody, and hell, let's go beat the Colts.
Yeah, and all three phases are working right now. That part I love more than anything else. Great job to both of you guys, both sides of the ball, people tuning in, watching the stream. We always appreciate that. All of Duval and beyond. You're playoff bound, baby. That's what you need to know more than anything else, and let's see where it goes. Coach Ingram, thank you as always. Coach Duff, appreciate it. We will see you on XL Primetime a little bit later on. Ozzy from the Lazy Boy, he's just sitting back watching all these wins pile up here in good old Jacksonville. So
he saved me. The elves were trying to get me off this show. He saved me. So Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Merry Christmas, Duval.
Yes, sir. Thank you, coaches. We appreciate it. We will talk to all of y'all next week on both sides of the ball.